Very well done.
Yeah, great roll out in front.
Might force them to, they could play the hit again, or they might force them to draw to the other side. They'll play the hit and roll.
Both these teams are starting to look more and more comfortable, just, and this is only the second end here.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We should mention too that if we have 7 sheets going here at the Newtown Curling Club, all the games are being live streamed. You can either tune into Curling Canada's YouTube pages. They have all the other games on. You can also go to Newtown Curling Club website and click on the live stream link, and then all the games will pop up, and pick the one you want to watch and enjoy. Ooh. Always a danger, you know. You can play that, but kind of same way as last end. You know, Quebec waited. They were very patient, made that hit and roll in front of that one, and just waited for a miss and waited for their opportunity. And now they're going to be. They put a little bit of pressure on British Columbia.
Absolutely, get a chance to put another one in and lie too.
Ideally, you want this probably full 4-foot. You don't want to set up a double or straight across from it. I think is pretty good. I think they got it right across from it. I think that's really good, eh, Riley?
Yeah, that's a great spot. No double there. BC looks like they're just going to opt to hit and roll beside and kind of group them together.
Yeah, hopefully get an opportunity to make a double with your last one, or maybe get a roll out. And
just a hit. Hit and roll. This way. Yeah. I don't think it feels like much kick. Yeah. 10-5.
on the nose, spread them out.
Looks like they might have got shot there, maybe. Looks close.
Yeah, they're going to play it anyways. It's close enough, and even if they nose it now, they're probably, as long as you hit and stick around, you're going to create a force. Whether they make a double, ideally if you could roll just right to where a broom is right now, that would be excellent, because you're going to block a little bit off of the front and make the draw a little bit tougher for you. You still may elect to play the hit and roll. It also depends on what your team's comfortable with.
Sweep in to hold it.
And it stuck around.
Sticks around.
Yep.
Got the option to draw or hit, it looks like now.
Probably a draw? You like the draw? Kind of like the hit.
Maybe she's thinking a little bit about just had the draw and would like a little bit easier time to try and get your draw weight instead of against two. So I think a nose hit will do it. Looks like it will. You definitely don't want to roll to the outside, but a nose hit or roll to the center should get her point.
Absolutely, yeah. Well played in by Quebec to sort of put some pressure on and make them look at two here.
I don't think it's going to curl him enough. Hit and roll out, and another steal of one for Team Quebec. After two ends of play, Team Quebec is leading Team British Columbia 2-0.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
And we're back here at the U-18 National Championships at the Nutana Curling Club in Saskatoon. Two ends of play. Team Quebec. We have a girls' game here. Team Quebec is leading 2-0 over Team British Columbia. Both teams, like we mentioned before, looking for their first win. Quebec now has a 2-0 lead, and they're throwing their first rock in the rings. Now it's gonna. Looks like Team British Columbia is still just happy to keep it clean. You know, if that's their game, they've got their game plan. It seems like they're sticking to their game plan, and good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is becoming sort of a common strategy to sort of throw the delayed corner and make sure you hit that first one to keep yourself out of trouble, and then stay patient till the next ones.
Quebec's happy with this, though. They're with a 2-0 lead, and they're just going to hit rocks. You know, there's no pressure on them. Eventually, if you're going to want to win, you're going to have to put pressure on the other team. But like I said, they've got their game plan, and these girls know that they're also well coached nowadays, and with the coaches' interactions and stuff like that. The other thing you can do too when you're Team British Columbia, you hit and stick. You just they're perfect. They're being patient. They're waiting for Team Quebec if they're going to play a hit to hit and roll out. You know, and then it just gives them a free chance to throw their corner guard. And you know, everybody has to remember too when you're watching these young athletes. You know, all of them. You know, some of them may have been curling since they were 10 years old. Some of them, you know, they've only been curling for a couple of years, and pretty much all of them. This is probably their first Canadian championship. There might be a few that have been at Canadian championships before, but you know, all those things have to be factored in, and takes a good game plan and good coaching, and to be able to harness all of that to, you know, create the best experience, the best results for the kids.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I 100% agree. I think the coaches play a pivotal role in this, and just making them enjoy allowing them to enjoy their experience, but also helping them to sort of be successful out there. It's kind of a combination of both, for sure.
So Rylan, between your U-18s and then junior U-20, how many full years of junior did you play, or that you're competing, trying to win a Canadian championship?
Yeah, we ended up going to we won the U-18s 3 times. So we went to nationals 2 out of those 3 times. The one year we weren't able to go, and then in juniors we actually made it to the nationals 4 times. So quite a bit of experience at that level for sure. But overall, each experience we got a little better each time. You sort of take a few things and learn from each time that you go there.
Yeah,
Take
absolutely.
that to the next event. So.
Absolutely. And when you were going through it too, there was no, like when you first started, there was no coaches interactions at the start. What was it? Was it your last year when they brought that in, or your second last year?
We never actually had that at all throughout ours. It was introduced. I think we were in our last year of juniors when it started to get introduced at the U-18 level.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So we just sort of missed that. I'm sure it would have been great at, you sort of accelerate your growth that way, I think. So it would have been great to have that in at the start, but some things we had to go through the hard way and learn the hard way. So
yeah, absolutely. And then you'd have got Coach Dean out there you'd had to deal with. Sometimes you probably would have told him to go back behind the glass, right? You got it all figured out, eh? Coach Dean is Ryland's dad, and he's a great guy. And he's been, he's a wonderful coach, but he's, we always have a good time. And
absolutely, over the years, it's been fun. That's for sure. Definitely when we were younger, maybe butted heads more, but now we're kind of see eye to eye now. So it's been pretty smooth since.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't really deny your success, right? Like that kind of is the telltale of everything. If you lose every year, you're not accomplishing what you want to accomplish. You have to make changes, whether it's players, whether it's a coach. There's always different personalities. That's the beauty of our game too, to try and find four people that have that good personality and stuff like that. Now I know like winning brings a lot of that on, but that all comes out when teams aren't successful. That's when you see the different personalities and how it affects a team, and you build a team.
Absolutely, yeah. It's always easy when you're winning, right? It's
Yeah.
always easy when you're winning. It takes a lot more work when you're sort of going through those other stages. So, like you said, kind of having the right people in your corner and the right pieces in the puzzle are key.
Yeah.
Tons of room. More.
Absolutely, and also then your commitment, your time to put in. We witness how your team has grown over the years, and even since you've been in men's for a little while too, and you guys are going to your first Briar this year. It's taken a lot of hard work. The early mornings and late nights at the club and throwing rocks and getting Lawrence to prep the ice for you guys at kind of all hours, just to we do the same thing for Mike McEwen's team, and they've done exactly the same thing. That's what it takes nowadays to be that good.
Absolutely, yeah. And even and for sure Lawrence, for sure on the ice work, it's just to be able to practice and on a class surface is something that's big for us too, and just being ready to go when we're at that next level, having practiced on top ice conditions.
Yeah, it's important, and never mind like for you guys too, but we want to have good ice conditions for everybody. Our ice conditions are fabulous, and we're so fortunate that all of our leagues, all of our members get to play on the same ice that these teams are playing on right now. When we host other championships, we hosted the Tankard last year. Hadn't been in a curling club for quite a while, so you never know what you're going to get. But we knew that there wasn't going to be any problem with the surface and the ice and the fans and everything like that. So BC and Quebec back here at the game, they're just trading rocks and. Quebec is like we said before. Quebec is just happy to play the game, and they're going to make BC force their hand. And
absolutely, yeah. Sort of just kind of keeping it open, keeping things clean. There's been some good sweeping out there too. Lots of they've been able to hold the rocks, make them curl up a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. They're hit and roll out. Just you see that if they overthrow me, right? If the like we've said, previously, if the rocks are just overthrown a little bit, their rocks will be lively enough and the house is fast. So what do you think? What do you think, Rylan? Like these, the coaches there's probably a lot of coaches here that aren't, you know, haven't been coaching for a long time. You know, a lot of them are family, friends, and stuff like that. What do you think is one of the most important things that you can, as a coach, that you can do to have your kids prepare for something like this? Like what would be, what would, you know, I know there's lots of steps and stuff like that, right? But is there anything that's like, that you would give advice to coaches and players to do to prepare for events like this?
Yeah, I think one of the main things is just taking a step back and sort of realizing what you're good at in this level. So if that means you're really good at hitting, maybe you play more hits, and that's sort of your strategy and what you're doing early on in this. I also think it's just important. It's a long week, so just being as a coach to make sure that your players are sort of eating well, sleeping well, and those types of things off the ice. I think those are great contributors to success out here, and those are kind of two key areas that I would focus on if I was out here coaching some of these players. And I think just carrying a good attitude and sort of leading by example, I guess, being a good role model and
yeah, those are great points. And you know, the game's changed over the years where, you know, when we played at this level, or even when we played on tour, you know, I'm 55 years old now, and I play on a senior team, and it was way different back then. You ate what you wanted to, you know, there was a lot of fun that was had, and it's different nowadays, right? And you know, you have to do what the best teams do. Yeah, if you want to be the best, you have to create that path and make it clear, and all your players have to kind of buy in, and you know, and still one of the most challenging things is that you want to still have fun with your team, you know, because if curlers only have fun when they're winning, you know, it's going to be really tough, because we all know that you're not going to win all the time, you know, and it's tough to win at any level. To be one of the better teams, it's tough to win. So make sure that you really enjoy the people you're curling with and have a good time.
Absolutely. BC with the hit.
And she got her single, and British Columbia is on the board. Quebec forced. After 3 ends of play, Quebec is leading 2-1.
One of the things that someone once told me was, you never know when you're going to get back, and you always want to make sure to focus on the competition, of course, because that's what you're there for, but you always want to be able to enjoy the opportunity and what's in front of you. So it'll very quickly, I don't find it difficult to get focused on the ice. I'm usually quite in a bubble, and I don't really know what's going on the other sheets or around me. So on my side of things, that's not a big problem. But yeah, just making sure you find that balance, because there are so many neat things that are going on outside of just the ice, from the telethon to the youth programming. We've got future stars with us. There's just so many things that are exciting, and we want to be part of it all and experience it all.
Good evening, and back for draw number 8 at the Nutana Curling Club here in Saskatoon. The U-18 Canadian Curling Championships. We're watching a ladies game between Team Quebec and Team British Columbia. Team Quebec is leading 2-1. They've got the hammer here in the 4th end. Going to update you on some of the other games that we're watching right now, if I can see that far, Rylan. On sheet B, Team Quebec, it's a men's game. Team Quebec is leading Team New Brunswick 2-1. playing the third end. On sheet C,
got Team New Brunswick men leading Team Ontario 1-0.
ladies game on sheet D. Team Alberta playing against Team Ontario, and the score there is
2-2.
okay.
And on the next sheet over, it's another female draw, and it's Northern Ontario taking on Saskatchewan, and Northern Ontario is leading 2-0. And then on sheet E is Newfoundland ladies taking on BC, and Newfoundland's up 1-0. And then on the far sheet is Quebec men taking on the Manitoba men, and that game is 1-1.
Excellent. Your eyes are a lot younger than mine, and that's the best way to do that.
Lillian! Top 8! Top 8! Top 12! Okay, line's good! Top 8! Ivy's first!
Hopefully my guys aren't listening on TV, because now they're going to know why. They'll be like, no wonder you can't see the broom.
No excuses now.
Yeah, I know.
Hard, you almost got it. Hey, whoa. Sit good. Go through.
Nice center guard and draw to the T-line here for BC.
Yeah, we got some rocks in play now. Now they don't have control of the game, and they got to get control back. So they threw up that great center guard, made a great come around. So pressure's on now for Team Quebec to follow up. Great sweeping.
Yeah, really good.
Just excellent throw by Quebec's lead, Elise Beauchesne.
Right to the top of the forefoot.
I don't think it feels like much.
Team British Columbia is just content to just follow him down. Put a rock in front of that one. Get it around the guard a little bit. British Columbia second, Ivy Jensen.
3, yes, line. Hard line.
Sweepers are just kind of maneuvering it in there. Looks like a great shot as well.
Hard line. Top 8. Okay.
Boy, she's thrown some really good stones. I don't know if I think she's been perfect on every one of them so far.
Absolutely, that's a nice angle too to sort of protect that one on the T line a little bit for now.
Yeah, now Quebec is forced to peel that guard off and try and open things up to be able to get at those ones that are in the rings.
Yep. Curl. Whoa. Curl. Yep, curl. Yep. Whoa.
Good peel.
I think a little less. Yeah.
Going to replace the guard now. They'll be content to do that the whole end, and
Line's really good. Close. 2. Leash if you can. Line's good. Has to curl. 2. Curl. 1. Line's really good. Over and off. 2, 1. Okay, curl. Curl. Yup.
take it a little farther, covered that rock.
You're good. Whoa.
Absolutely perfect. Another wonderfully thrown stone by Ivy Jansen.
Good suit. I think it feels like nothing.
What was your feeling like when you went to you played in the U-18s, your first Canadian championship? What can you remember what that was like, and what you felt?
Yeah,
that event?
the first one we played at was the U-18 Optimist actually in Edmonton, and it was just so exciting that first time you get to wear your province's jacket, and and sort of represent the province. And it was just yeah, it was amazing. Just a great experience with the guys, and learned a lot. Like I said, those first couple, you learned so much, and just enjoyed the experience a lot.
Like on the center
That
line.
first event, are any of the guys that you're curling with now, were they on any of those guys on that team?
Yeah, Trevor and Josh both were actually, and Matt Hall wasn't, but he's from Ontario, so I don't believe he was at the first one that we were at, but he was at quite a few of our juniors that we played against.
So you met him quite early, and you knew him and stuff like that. No, and you had the other Matthew back then, right? So you guys played forever, you know, until Matt Hall came along, and you know, Matthew stepped back to become a doctor, and just a little bit heavy, just kind of rubbed off of that, but they do have 2 counters in there, and they're still going to, they've got some pressure on Quebec this end. Quebec made a good shot. You know, they did run the yellow back and pick another yellow out. In return, you do leave still a center guard for Team British Columbia to use.
Absolutely. Quebec sort of has two options here. They can either come this way, they can also play their own red, so few ways to get in there.
That red is helping them right now, and you know, maybe they're feeling it's a little too early in the end to do that, but yeah, if they ever with that yellow one just coming deep, if they ever can, you know, sink one right on top of it, freeze it perfect, that'll help out that should help out quite a bit in the end. Coming in there really good. Or if they can get it by that.
Some more great sweeping.
Isn't that good?
Great shot.
So good.
Pair less or same? Pair less. Okay. That was a 15-6.
Now BC Team British Columbia, they might be kind of
We're just gonna sit on top of it.
changing their strategy a little bit, and you know, get another yellow one on top of that, and even forcing Team Quebec to one this end with the hammer, getting the hammer back would be big.
Feels like more. Room! Room! Close! Close, yes, line! Hard line! Hard line! Hard line! Gotta go! Hard line!
Looks like quite a bit of weight. Weight's there if they can get it by that red one. Oh, he's got a great shot. Excellent to unlock that back one. That's really big. Now that red one can, moving that yellow one, that red one's kind of a sitting duck now. You have to be careful. So
absolutely, the yellow one, the top full four is sort of that control rock now. Quebec does still have access to the red one here on the other side.
Yeah, and if you bump it right into those two, that would definitely help. That's kind of your option. I guess the other option would be is if you wanted to guard the right-hand side, you know, and leave the red one where it is. BC can't play it. There's nothing BC could do with the red one, so a couple options that are available for the girls.
Lights good. Yes, line, yes, line, yes, line, yes, line. Yep. Girl. No, line, yep. Yep, hard. Hard line, hard line, hard line, hard line.
Not too bad. I think the team, they're just going to play the same shot she just played and come down and now release that red rock. And
Yeah, tolerance is light.
Yeah, no, it looks like an opportunity to maybe sit two.
yeah, if she can ever hit it a little bit on the outside and kind of chisel it in.
We're gonna throw like back four.
you might get it underneath that top
I think
guard a
so.
little bit more. It might be completely buried,
Or
but
one. Or they're one. Or 2, 3, I think. Back 4, like even T line or like even just 2, it's okay. So tolerance is like top 4. It should be about a 15-5. So 4-1. It'll curl a bit in the end. Well done. Mine's good. Whoa.
we heard some great input there from the thrower to sweepers and stuff like that. And you know, one of the things that I'm finding with these young kids and the way they're trained, and the tolerance is always, you know, it's very important that they communicate that. You know, we kind of take it for granted because we've been curling for so many years, and you know, you don't really think about that because you just want to make everything right. But as you're developing, and that tolerance is a very important part, and it's taught at this age through like the high performance curling and stuff like that. That's a very important term, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you aren't making every shot, you can win a lot of games by just being on the right side and erring on the right side. So having that communicated, it sort of reinforces that in case you have a blank mind there for a second. It just helps to reiterate the importance of throwing it a certain way.
Looks like Team Quebec are they just kind of throwing one into the pocket now?
I think so, yeah.
Trying to follow that down and just get another rock in play there. So guess another option again is that like a guard would work out just fine too. This one's going to be a little bit lighter, but they bounce off that a little bit. That's going to work out pretty good. Covered both sides.
Yeah. Good shot.
That's excellent. Now you're kind of in the mode now. You got one shot left each. You know, they want to protect that red one now. So I think that.
How are they getting 2? She might have like a run here.
Yeah. So now it's up to British Columbia to decide. Do they want to access that to you know, to try and promote the yellow one in lie 2, or are they happy with, you know, they don't have a shot really right now for 2.
Do you guard the port?
Yeah, there isn't much there for 2 unless something gets opened up, I think.
Yeah.
No, she's got no shot out of this.
So where
Can you?
do we guard the middle or guard the side?
You could maybe sliver that red one sideways that's sticking out a little bit on the
I don't think we can move like this.
on the left-hand side, our left-hand side anyways, that at the top of the button into the 2 yellows, and maybe move them a little bit just to try and
Here? Yeah.
Yeah,
that looks like that's kind of what they're guarding.
Hey, haven't played
absolutely.
this
Yeah, I
side.
think if you could ever get there with enough weight,
Anywhere in the
could,
past?
you could maybe move both.
Yeah, we haven't thrown this side this end, so.
One of the challenges with when you're throwing these guards they're way out, like let's say you're guarding the edge of the 4-foot, a lot of teams have a tendency not to take enough ice because, you know, you can put it way out there. You can cover the 8-foot out there, and
4-3?
you don't have to cover that, you know, the rock. I guess if you're scared that they're going to throw a hit, but you see that over curl a lot, hey, in those situations.
Absolutely, and you get out into a little bit of a new path when you take a little bit more ice, and sometimes it catches that extra pebble and comes in a little bit more
Yeah.
than you were thinking.
Curling!
See how that one just curled.
Straight! Over and off! Over and off! Whoa!
Looks like it's going to end up in a good spot.
Yep, it guarded the outside of that one. Now they can't throw any weight at it, so that accomplished what they needed to do. You know, if she had 6 feet more weight, that might have went right around that red one, and it wouldn't have really just kind of to our point with what we saw there. But
Absolutely.
I think Quebec is just throwing it. They're going to have to just throw it away. I don't think they have anything. Do you?
Nope, I don't see anything there. This Quebec is probably happy, still taking their one.
Yeah, the way it was looking with those yellow ones that got in front of the red stones, they are probably pretty happy trying to.
Very well executed end by both teams.
There was a lot of really good shots at end, and I think the teams are, like you said, they're finding their stride now, and I think we're going to see a good second half. One red, one for Quebec. Score after 4 ends, going into the 4th end break. Quebec is leading British Columbia 3-1.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You can throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
The Canadian Curling Trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium, just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Defiant, we take down giants with nothing but the stones in our hands. And in the stands, they wait and see who among us will earn the right to wear the maple leaf.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
It was probably the most unique, beautiful, rewarding curling experience I've ever had. Having the opportunity to work in USG with the Cree Nation of Chisasibi, with Rhonda Spencer, with Roy Niacapo, just the entire community really came together, supported. We did something really tremendous, introducing a sport to a community that hasn't really had curling all that much, but there's a lot of very passionate curling fans. Radisson was a place where there's a curling club many years ago, and they haven't seen it in the region since. So we put a lot of time and effort and resources and told our stories, brought together all the Indigenous curlers, and empowered each and every one of us to share time with youth and community members.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You can throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Welcome back, everybody, for the second half of this wonderful curling game. These young ladies are just curling phenomenal tonight. You'd never, by watching them, you wouldn't think that either of them were looking for their first win, but we're sure being treated to a wonderful display of curling tonight. Team Quebec is up 3-1. British Columbia does have the hammer going into the fifth end. So, Rylan, you guys are your team is heading to the Brier in a couple weeks. Your first Brier. You guys are must be pretty excited. I know we had to talk about this, get you on and talk about this tonight. We're excited for you guys. Like I said, like I told you before, I've seen all the work you guys put in. We've watched it for years about how hard you've worked, and I guarantee you this is your guys' dream. To get to the Brier like every curler. So, what have you guys done? First of all, tell everybody what you're feeling, how excited you guys are, what kind of preparations you need to do, and what do you expect when you get there?
Yeah, no, we're just excited to represent Saskatchewan and get a chance to compete at the most coveted stage in curling, pretty much in the Canadian Championships. And with a lot of work, like you said, over the past few years, it's definitely something that we're building up to, and we're sort of working hard in the gym quite a few times, like you said, on the ice, with this great facility, and just being able to practice 4 or 5 times a week or so, and just staying with that, and working on all aspects and preparing our schedule, so we're well planned out with our nutrition plans, our rest times, and all those other things when we're there, so we can just focus on competing and put everything else aside when we're there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you guys have played in a few slams and stuff like that, so you've played against the best teams in the world. It's nice to have that experience going into it too, because you can be starstruck or in awe of everything. They always say that whenever you go to any kind of event, the first time you go there to participate and to take in the experience or whatever. And then the second time, third time, whatever, you go to win. But you've been in enough Canadian Championships and played against these teams. I know you guys aren't just going there to participate. You guys are one of the best teams in the world. We've got two of the best teams in the world coming from Saskatchewan, right out of our club, and lost my feed there for a minute. So
you got me now? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so like I was saying before, you guys are, you're expecting to win some games, and you should be, like you guys are good enough. You guys are good enough team to compete with anybody that's there, right? And it's a matter of you're going to play good teams, and how you play against those good teams is gonna dictate how you finish. As well, you got to beat the teams you should beat, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The Brier, the field's always strong, and we're just going to rely on our experience throughout the year. Just playing against, like you said, getting our experience against those top teams, and coming out of Saskatchewan, you're always battle tested. They got quite a bit of depth here, so be excited and ready to go. It's like some good shots here in the 4-foot. BC with a chance to sit on top and maybe lie 3 even after this hit.
Yeah, we knew that we would see this. They actually played a really good end last end to started to play. They played their first few ends to get their feet under them and clean, and what a great double and a hit and roll. Buried, frozen behind the corner. This is the patience that we talked about. Again, Ivy Jensen makes another shot. Still hasn't missed yet, and it's going to put quite a bit of heat on Quebec.
Absolutely, just some great execution there.
going to peel the center and make them put another one back. When your team, Rylan, was you've played for all these years, and you went to 4 junior Canadian championships. When you were out of junior, did you expect to? How do you feel your progress is? Did you expect that you'd be at the Brier sooner than you are, or later? Is it kind of just what you expected?
Yeah, I think in Canada there's a lot of depth, right? So it takes, sometimes you got to sort of pay your dues before and take your lessons when you have them. But with the amount of work we're putting in, and we're dedicating a lot of time to the game, and yeah, I think we're right on track here, and we're excited to get out there and show the country what we have. So.
And it's kind of nice too, like there's some big name teams there, like there always is at the Brier. It's sometimes it's nice to go in and, it's your first event, and, the people, and they don't expect, the expectations, other than the expectations that you create. Like we said, we know how good you guys are and what you guys are capable of, but maybe people across the country don't realize that. So, you can go and relax, play your game, other than the pressure that you guys create on yourselves. And, not saying that there's no pressure playing against the best teams in the world, but it's nice. It'll be nice to have that part of it too.
Absolutely, no, totally agree with you. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Well, it looks like Quebec is now looking to. It's a really tight guard, a really good guard. So she's trying to freeze down to it. Maybe play a little bit of a freeze tap.
Sweepers are on. It's close.
Maybe a little bit light for.
Another great sweep. The weight was pretty close there.
Yeah, it looks like she's laying 2, and with the scoreboard the way that it is, playing an odd end, you don't want to give BC a big end. You can't expect to go through a whole game where sometimes you're gonna get a deuce with the hammer, right? And if you can at least hold them to that, make sure that they don't get any more than that. There's still quite a few rocks to come yet, and anything can happen. But playing that freeze, and the freeze was almost perfectly executed. Little bounce off there. Not too bad, but it did push the red rock out to the other side. Now Quebec can make a play on that stone. The coaching and the training with these athletes has evolved even since you guys played in U-18. Like, you look at now what they're doing and all the stuff, the tools that they're providing. I think Curling Canada's done a great job of providing those things, like especially within the last few years.
Absolutely, and these competitions, including all the teams here, it just gives more people an opportunity to play at that national stage, and really promotes the game and grows the game.
They did remove a couple stones out of play and kind of unlock all of that. BC is still has 3 rocks in the rings, all kind of touching the forefoot. Has an opportunity here to play like a little quiet hit and roll off of the red one, and she's calling a hack weight shot to. She can never make that hit and roll in. Tucked under a little bit, so even if she noses it and it doesn't jam on the back yellow one, it's going to put British Columbia in a pretty good position this end.
Yeah.
Just barely ticks the guard.
Just racked on the guard and got it out of the way, and now it's going to give Quebec a chance to. That might have been a little more weight than she called, unless she changed it. She wanted to play hack at that, and that was good bumper at least when it was going down there, but they still needed to kind of maybe in between shots where it didn't quite have the ice right for the hack weight shot. But as a player, you know those two. You know that's one of the beauties of the game, is that not everything is mechanical. Sometimes you have to be a little bit of an artist, right? And the good teams are really good artists. You know, look at Brad and Gushu and Jacobs and those guys, and you know, they've been at it for a lot of years, and they're just, you know, it's a very important part of today's game if you're going to win.
Yeah, absolutely. There's oftentimes different ways to make the shot.
Yeah. Just kind of looked like she just got that going a little bit, and it just kind of scattered the rocks around and spread them out a little bit. That's not ideal for Quebec if British Columbia can.
Yeah, touch them all, but none of them left the rings.
Hit and stick, and she might have a. Quebec's going to be forced to make a really, really good shot to hold them to fewer points. That's in a pretty good spot. It did leave her a double, but if she makes a double, she should have a shot to get 3 back anyways. So I don't think there's a triple there anywhere. Do you see triple, Rylan?
No, I don't. I think unless you can throw it really hard on our left side, and maybe it touches the back one, but
maybe
it's tough. I think the double is more likely. Double right on the nose, and if you can hold them to 3 here, that's pretty good. You're down 1 with the hammer then.
Yeah. I think you're right. The way that's set up, if you're going to make that triple, you'd almost have to make it by accident. You know, like just throw it a little bit wide and kind of ricochet off the one, and hopefully get them all going. But got the coaches coming out now and providing a little bit of insight on what's going on. Making sure, I think the most important thing right now is that Quebec gets the double. You know, if BC gets 3, they're only 1 down. Still got the hammer playing number 6. We're getting to that point now where you can count ends, right? You know, those even ends. Having the hammer in the even ends, it works out pretty good.
Mais le hit and roll a la même efficacité. Puis on en enlève. Juste on veut bien faire une trip. Vas-y, hit and roll. Lance fort, vas-y, un bon contrôle. On risque peut-être d'en enlever une. Hein? Non, vas-y, juste hit and roll en arrière de la 4.
Well, they've talked it over, and I think that just make sure that they're all on the same page. And
are they calling the hit and stay in front? Is that what it's looking like?
It almost looks like they've got the ice down to play a hit and roll, or like you said, maybe a quiet weight shot and just try and nose it, which might be, you know, if she ever makes a shot. Did she throw the wrong turn? They're kind of looking like she threw. I don't think they were on the same page there. It looks like there's some confusion. And
Yeah, 15-5, you think still?
draw for 5 now.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. I think I'm still going to give it to you.
Somewhere there was a little bit of miscommunication there, and
Hey. Similar to last day.
I don't think that that's what they discussed. But anyways, it's got to draw for 5, and
Looks like the sweepers like it out of the hand. There now.
lots of backing. I don't think you're ever going to have a problem with this.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah. Always nice for the sweepers when you can just throw it into the pile and get your 5. So what great end for British Columbia. You know, we talked about their execution, and big 5-ender, 6-3 now after 5 ends for Team British Columbia.
The Canadian curling trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium, just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Defiant, we take down giants with nothing but the stones in our hands. And in the stands, they wait and see who among us will earn the right to wear the maple leaf.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Well, a big 5th end for Team British Columbia. The count of 5, leading 6-3 now. Welcome back to the Newtown Curling Club. This draw number 8. I'm Corey Kohutch joined with Rylan Kleider, and we're bringing you this draw tonight. We've been talking about it all week about some of the teams that had flights delayed, and the event was supposed to start on Sunday. We're supposed to do practices on Saturday. There's a couple of teams that still aren't here yet, and Curling Canada has done just an amazing job. Like what a nightmare to try and get the draw in. You want to see all these kids curling and get the event in. It means so much to them. So they've done just a fabulous job of trying to get this all in, and we're going to get it all in. There's some teams that are going to have to play 3 games in a day and whatever, but I don't think the kids care. I think that they're just going to be happy to play. So
Absolutely. They're just looking forward to just being on the ice, that's for sure.
yeah, there's been quite an ordeal, and what bad luck too. Everybody's kind of seen the plane crash that was in Toronto, and that delayed teams from going out. You finally get your planes ready to go, and then all of a sudden a plane flips upside down and you can't get out because of that. Like, you think, what next, right? Boy, would it ever be great to see one of those teams come here and win.
Absolutely.
What a great story that would be. So
Can we go around? Back 8. Well, line's good. Back 8. Kayla. Back 12. Kayla.
See, the corner guard went up for Quebec, and now BC putting a couple in the center line there.
just getting the rocks in the ring, trying to shrink the house down, and force Quebec to make some good shots here to get back in this game. Looks like Quebec just wants to get rid of that one on the top of the rings. They got their corner, so.
Really hard, really hard, really hard. Yep, hard. No.
Just couldn't quite get it over enough, but hits and rolls out. Time, chance for BC to put that back.
They're really carrying.
Let's go over all the other sheets when we got a moment here, Rylan. I can do sheet B because I can see that one, and then you're going to do the rest. On sheet B, it's a boys game. We got Quebec playing against New Brunswick. Quebec is leading that game 7-2. They're in the 6th end.
Then on sheet C, we have another boys game. It's New Brunswick versus Ontario, and that game is 3-1 for Ontario in the 5th end. And then on sheet D, we have a girls game, and that is Alberta taking on Ontario, and Alberta's leading that 5-3 after the 5th end.
Might have to peel.
And then on the next sheet over, we have another girls game, Saskatchewan taking on Northern Ontario, and Northern Ontario is up 3-2 on Saskatchewan. And then the next sheet over, another girls game, and that is BC taking on Newfoundland, and Newfoundland's up 2-0 in the 6th end. And then the far sheet down there is Quebec boys taking on Manitoba boys, and Quebec is up 5-1, playing the 6th end. Some close games and a few others getting away, but we got an exciting one here in the feature.
Yeah, they kind of, like we were talking about in the first few ends where we were talking about BC, stick to their game plan. They got down 2 and, they were still hitting rocks. They got forced to 1, but they weren't even phased one little bit. That was their game plan. They knew what they were doing, and it paid off. They knew when they needed to, put the pedal down a little bit. And
absolutely, and now they can continue with that patient strategy.
Another great shot. It's funny how an end can get away from you like that too. You just have to be patient. It wasn't like they missed a whole bunch of shots. The rocks just kept kind of getting scattered around. They would be a little bit off here and there, and they just kind of kept jostling around, and Quebec just wasn't able to make that big double when they needed it, just kind of clean things up. And just about made the hit and roll, but it's still accessible for British Columbia to remove it. Maybe roll over to the open side. Well, you watch across the sheets, you look at some of the other games, and boy, the kids sure are having a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
They're just so into it, and the fans that are out on the ice, upstairs and downstairs in the club is just full of parents and people watching. And
definitely, yeah, we can hear the noise from up here when shots were being made.
Yeah.
9-4.
Like to remind everyone too, in the next few days our 50-50 draw is done for the day now here, but we've had a couple nice pots almost to the $2,000 mark. Curl Sask website, the Curl Sask 50-50. Anybody in Saskatchewan can go on, any of our viewers can go on. We have a draw every day, and they'll get in, and every ticket you're buying helps support our young athletes in our club here, and also with Curl Sask during the game. So going to a great cause, and you might get lucky and win a little bit of money.
There you go. I might have to get in on that. Great shot there. That's it. Looks like it's fully buried around that corner.
British Columbia is electing now
Yeah, that was a 15-9.
kind of play to it. I guess it's with 3 rocks left in the end. They're feeling that the best way to take that rock out of play is to kind of freeze to it and maybe corner freeze to it, and they can get shot out of it. Ideally, it would be good if they get by the corner guard tight and kind of pop it out into the open so they can access it the next time. But it's in there pretty good. It's tough to make a play at it. And yes, you could peel the guard if you wanted to, but you know, you're at this point, Sid, you're most likely giving a 2-ender up.
Hard.
They definitely, with that, getting that 5-ender, they probably don't want to get more than just a little bit heavier than they wanted to there, and slipped in the back, and it gives Quebec an opportunity to get a second rock in there now.
It's a good heads-up call by the person calling line, just in case if there's another chance to get something out of that rock with trying to wrap it around that top 8-1, but just a little bit too deep there.
I think this is a really mature call from, you know, maybe from a young skipper. You think, you know, oh, we'll just keep going around there and stuff like that. You know, they could elect to go to the back of one of those yellow ones, but if they make that, and then BC comes down on top, they take both the red rocks away, right? So going to the open side, BC's not going to, you know, if they make the shot, BC is not going to ignore it. And this might be their best chance to get a 2, and then it puts them right back in the game.
Absolutely, looks close here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Great shot.
You bet.
Yeah. Just here. Or you try this, but yeah, I think we gotta do this. Okay.
Yeah, she's going to hit it, make it go away first.
And this time. Probably there.
If he knows it, if he hit half a rock and roll into front of one of those 2 yellow ones, that's pretty good as well.
Yeah. 10-5? We'll try to roll big, I think. Probably a little further. Or just close to center. 3/4?
Trying to curl it in there, trying to get a piece. Oh, it looked like it rolled right through the wall. A little bit unlucky there, but Quebec now has a chance to maybe put that rock back over on that side. A choice to make now. Maybe you wrap one around that red one. You kind of get it around there, maybe a half, or you know, maybe to get your 3. You got an option. What, you either try and get your sure 2. 2 is big anyway, so. And Mary Lee just threw this shot, but now Leanne's throwing it, and got to work it a little bit to try and get it there.
Sweepers are working hard. Just a little short, but this other one's still buried, so it's tricky to try to chip that one out.
Going to give Beth a chance now to come around that red one, and
I gave you here. And we got by here. There? Yeah. Maybe a hair more? Yeah.
typically in this spot it's gonna run down for quite a while, and then it'll finish at the end, especially when you're going across the middle.
Yeah.
Probably starting to you know, that's where most of the play has been, and you're going to get a little more bite there and a little more curl in that spot. So the ice surface is pretty good. You don't get a whole bunch of that, but, you know, but I think it's consistent with a lot of ice surfaces. Sometimes as it gets keener, it can get a little bit straighter in spots, you know, kind of the tendency of the ice kind of start to take over. But, you know, where the majority of the play is, it can also wear down a little bit. Our surface has been pretty good, though, so you don't get a whole bunch of that. That's pretty good.
That's really good.
That's going to be a tough shot. She's going to have to just curl it across the nose a little bit and tap it and get it through. It might go back on those back ones. That worked out almost better. That worked out. You couldn't almost walk that down any better.
Yeah, sitting shot there as well. Can't quite tell. Is the yellow gonna miss the back yellow? Shouldn't jam on the back one.
It's pretty close.
It's close.
Depending on how you can get across the nose and kind of punch it that way. I don't know. They think that it's just, that shot was too perfect, and it's going to force Quebec to just draw for their point. Big shot. That could have been a game saver right there, right? Instead of giving up 2 and letting the other team back in, you just... This one's curling a little bit. They're going to have to go. No, just ran out of speed, whether it kind of grabbed something or whether it was just kind of soft a little bit. But that will be a steal of 1 for BC. After 6 ends, British Columbia is leading 7-3 now.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You can throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
All right, welcome back here in the 7th end action. We've got 7-3 now. British Columbia stole a point in the 6th end. Rylan, what's Quebec going to need to do here to get back in this game? And
yeah, I think starting up, get your corner guard up there, and then sort of you definitely want rocks in play. So I think starting with that center guard is going to definitely help Quebec this end, and yeah, just keeping their rocks above the T line, and they'll be set up.
yeah, and they gotta, and you know, you have to execute now. You know, like that's one of the things. If you're going to come back, it's a little bit of a tall order to, you know, to try and come back, but you know, there's still 2 ends of play left, and you know the other team got a big end. You've got hammer. You know, try and get a big end back and get a few misses from the opposition.
Absolutely. Even if you can put up a 3 even this end would be great, just to kind of get you back into it.
We were talking a little bit before about the makeup of your team and your 4 guys. You guys curled together forever, and then Matthew left your team, and you got Matt Hall. What has Matt meant to your team? Because you know, we've one of the observations that I've had, like watching guys playing on TV, he's a really smart curler. His curling IQ is really, really high, and you know, he's had great success as a curler as well. And to bring that to a team, and he almost seems like a calming force. But you tell us, like, that's just an observation from me. But you tell me, you know, what he brings to the team.
Yeah, the addition with Matt has been incredible. He's like you said, he knows the game better than anyone, really. Whether that's ice reading, shot making. I always kind of make the joke, no matter what, Matt can always find a way to make the shot too. So he knows how to make the shots, and he helps the other guys too. He kind of acts as a caddy when they're throwing to make sure that we're all bought in and throwing it the right way to make it. Yeah, and just from like a strategic perspective, Matt has brought a lot to this team with his experience at the World Juniors and playing men's as well for a number of years there. It's been instrumental for our team's success, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you can see it. You know, like I said, like it's just it seems like a really good fit. You know, and it's made your team better. You know, you guys are good as it was. You know, but it's always good to have that. When you can add a guy with curling IQ, you know, that's one of the terms that we overuse all the time when you're watching, because just those things you can't teach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think you can learn them and stuff like that, but the whole reality is when you're in those situations, it's an instinct. You're born with it. You know, you can teach some of it, and experience does create some of it, but the real champions, you know, you're born with that, right? And you've seen it too. You know, you were a football player, and it's kind of the same thing in football, right? You know, you're leaders in football. You're good quarterbacks here. You know, all those kind of. You know, well, and especially kickers. You know anything about kickers?
Yeah.
Well, just think about the pressure that you have, right? Like, you have to be, you know. A lot of times, a lot of those situations fall on your shoulders, and if you're in a big game and you crumble, or you know, you're not going to win. You know, you'll win a lot of games because you're talented, but if you want to win the big games and be a champion, you know, that's in you. It's great to see this too, because you can kind of, you know, these kids, a lot of these kids, when you watch them, and you know, I'm just amazed at the age that they are. I remember when we curled at this level too, and you know, you're thinking, like, a lot of times nobody knew what they're doing, and I think that a lot has to do with the program, the coaches' interactions and stuff like that. I think it's a wonderful thing, and we should be proud in Saskatchewan, because that was kind of our baby. You know, Curl Sask was the pioneer of that, and you know, and Curling Canada adapted it very fast. And I just think it's a wonderful game. It definitely speed up the game. A lot of people think, oh, it's going to be slow. It's going to slow the game down. It hasn't.
Oh, I agree. I think it helps. It helps facilitate the game. It makes it move quicker, and like I've been saying, it helps these curlers develop faster, which is a key part in our country, right? To keep building the next generation of curlers.
Yeah, and you can see it. You can flat out see it, like the age that they are, and having their coaches, and their coaches aren't out there every end. You know, like we've seen, we've had maybe a handful of interactions this game, both teams combined, and
seeing some good shots with Quebec. They made a nice hit and roll there, and putting some pressure on BC here, drawing July 3.
Yeah, it's just exactly like our point that we said before, that you know, to get these this opportunity to come right back in it.
Like hit it right here, I think. Yeah. Or it's pretty thin, right?
I don't mind just coming here.
They are gonna
Like that making a roll in there.
they are gonna give them a chance. If they make this double, they might get all three of those. They might be lined up, but it all depends on. It's a pretty thin double.
Like even if we hit and roll, that's
But you're
okay
right,
too.
it is there.
Playing the option whether they, whether they hit and roll over the hit and roll on top of it is pretty good. It takes that one out of play and that other one on the side out of play, but
If we can, hit and roll over is fine. Curl! 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 Hard! Hard! Clean! Clean! Yep! Yep! Yes!
they just kind of were in between shots there, and they're trying to make a curl, and they didn't really need to make a curl. Probably just it was a little bit thinner than they had saw it to make that double and stick, and it kind of happens a lot too. Then you get kind of right in between it.
Move that yellow one right to the open.
Yeah, she threw it really well. Davis thrown a lot of really good shots tonight too. Still gives Quebec a chance to hit lie three. I think probably the nose is the shot right now. You want to force British Columbia to make a double somewhere along the way. Or
Absolutely. I don't think it would leave an easy double either if they can sit right on the nose. If you ever flop in a rock too, then it's really, really good.
For
Just
sure. Yeah.
Tough to avoid that jam at the back. But
Yeah. Yeah.
time is not an issue for either of these teams. They're both really efficient with getting the broom down and calling their shots.
Yeah, and again, back to the coaches' interaction. I think that just helps a lot. They've been very decisive with their strategy calling, and we haven't sat here and hardly at all and said they're playing the wrong shot. They've called it. What a great game both teams have called.
Absolutely. Looks like a
Just
great
got it right
shot.
on the nose.
Really good.
Excellent. Make sure you get it between those two first, and then, I think now she can. She says that she get both. I think that if you can make the hit and roll in front of that one, I think you're going to get the double as well. Or roll behind, in front of that red one on the rings, roll behind those two yellows.
I think just control on it. We'll try to roll under. Might feel like more out here.
Pretty important shot. It'd be really advantageous to make sure you make one of the doubles right, either the outside double or the hit and roll double. So. And this one's curling a lot. She got it going, or whether it grabbed or something like that, but she's on the front yellows. So.
Roll it in, roll it in.
That leaves Quebec sitting 3.
Chance to get that 4-8 back. They've done a great job of executing their shots and really putting the pressure on British Columbia. Get a few misses, get a big miss out when you need it, and that's going to hopefully get them right back in the game. I think it's okay. It's coming across the middle. It should stop.
No brush to it yet, but it looks pretty close. That'll work to sit 4.
Do you ever come here? Or would you rather that
2 shots left for each team.
You gotta try to make a double.
Still, yeah, she's just as we talking. I was just gonna say she's probably still wants to try and make a double. Still got a 4-point lead, so eliminating those red rocks and trying to hold her to 2 and 3 is quite important. You know, you play the last end with the hammer and you've got a lead. It's a little better if you're than if you're tied or down for sure. She's playing the same shot here, Ryland. Is she just going to try and, yeah, the double and roll?
Yep.
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like there's still enough room. I'm sure they'll have the other one in mind too.
The back one on this side.
If it does hang out there a little bit.
Right.
You like that?
Yeah, it's sensitive to how you throw it, and if you do get it in that spot and you pop it a little bit, it could track down there. So it's just a matter of how quickly they pick that up and make the transition to call plan B. Just got that a little bit out there and did get it out. Got one of them out anyways, and
get the one.
Quebec is going to go back to that side, and the other one's buried now. If she puts this back here, there's not going to be any doubles, and she's probably going to have to freeze to that one that's buried right now to cut them down. You'll want to stay with this because it is going to come down going across the middle anytime you. Those are the hardest draws, hey, later on in the game, Ryland, when you're coming across the center.
Through the draw path.
Yeah.
Or the slide path, I should say.
An experience you learn, yeah, an experience you'll learn that over time too, and you know, the difference between putting the broom, if you're drawn to the butt, and putting it in the middle of the 12-foot to the edge of the 8-foot, it can be a 1.5 seconds difference in speed, right?
Absolutely. Looks like they're gonna take on the hit and roll.
Yeah, they still want to eliminate shots or eliminate rocks. Try and maybe make that, there is that back double there now. Try and get the rock on the front. Try and make the double with the one in the back of the rings. And
10-5.
Gonna be close.
Hard. Roll. No roll. No roll.
a little bit too much ice. She threw that stone really well and just didn't quite have the broom in the right spot.
An opportunity to tie it up.
Yeah, excellent opportunity for Quebec here to hit it on the nose and get your 4 points and tie it up. Looks like she got this going a little bit. Sweeping it to ticket. Get it across the nose.
2 for sure.
Just over curled it a little bit. Looks like we got 2. After 7 ends, British Columbia holds a 2-point lead going into the last end. The score is 7-5.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
The Canadian curling trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium, just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Defiant, we take down giants. With nothing but the stones in our hands. And in the stands, they wait and see who among us will earn the right to wear the maple leaf.
All right, we are back here at the Newtown Curling Club. Draw number 8 and number 8 in this game between British Columbia and Quebec, a girls' game. Score is 7-5 for British Columbia. They got the hammer in the last end. Quebec had a chance for 4. Couldn't remove the second shot stone, or just actually did remove it enough to bring 2 of their rocks into play. British Columbia just going open side with their rock. Didn't want to clutter up the middle. Not a bad strategy. It all depends. As long as you leave one side to peel, that's the only thing that you have to be careful of. Is it takes one of your sides away to peel in that situation. But
got Quebec with a good guard set up too.
good shot into the top of the rings.
Really?
That rock on the out front is not on the center line though. So if they play the hack weight on it and they chip it over or whatever, you know that will be allowed. It's not touching the center line. So.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you like. Okay. I like that.
How important, Rylan, one quick thing here while we were watching this, how important is sweeping now in the games? I know that, you know, as curlers and stuff like that, we talk a lot, you and I talk a lot about it amongst our teams and stuff like that too. And, you know, you guys spend a lot of time talking at events about what's working, what isn't, what we should do, because I think what a lot of people do is they just kind of default to what everybody's seeing on TV or seeing what they're doing, and they just do it all the time, and they don't realize that the conditions, your playing conditions, mean so much. You know, the temperature, the frost, all that kind of stuff, and you want to make sure that you're not doing something that's hurting. You know, sometimes if you're trying to sweep a rock to make it curl, you have to remember you're still polishing the ice in front of the rock, which scientifically makes it go faster and straighter, creates less friction. So what's your guys' process? You know, how often do you guys talk about the sweeping and what's working and what isn't and what you see and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think it's kind of always evolving, and the key is it's becoming, like you said, it's becoming such a big part of the game. Having strong athletic sweepers is huge. It gives you a lot of room for error when you're throwing the rock, and I think for us, like you said, we sort of chat before events. As in our practices, we sort of figure out what's working, we test different things out, and then we get to the event, we discuss what's working on that specific ice. And this can be game to game. It could be competition to competition. Kind of depends how consistent the ice is at wherever you are playing. So, yeah, just focusing on the details and really paying attention to what you're able to do, because I think certain people can do different things when they sweep, and figuring out what works for your team and yourself is the key thing.
Yeah, 100%. I think those are all really good points. And we're learning about it too, you know. BC's just peeling rocks here, just trying to get, keep the front open and giving them a shot here to access those red ones that are there. So yeah, it is evolving, and it's just there's a lot we don't know. You know, there's a lot that we think we're seeing, but maybe we're not. You know, it's a tough thing because people say, "Oh, I saw that one. I saw them make that curl." Well, how do you know? Like if you didn't sweep it to make it curl, what would happen to it? Right? You know, there's so many factors that are involved of what's going on, and it's a tough thing. And you as a skip, you're the one that has to relay what's going on to your team. You know, in our team, I play second, so I'm asking my back end guys. I'm saying, what's happening with that? And did this happen or this happen? And I think that feedback's really important in all the games. All the successful teams do that.
Absolutely, always having lots of communication. That's key.
Yeah, and information too, right? You can never have enough information.
Still looking to peel the guard here. Red's only sitting one in the house, so they're not too worried about rushing in there yet.
Yeah, there's still quite a few rocks left, and yeah, you want to make sure you do that. At some point in time, Quebec is going to have to make a play on that red one. That's better to get that yellow one out. And for now, they'll just keep throwing guards. You mentioned a really good point too. It's very important when you're forming teams and stuff like that to understand what your teammates are capable of. You know, it's getting to the point now. You know, where back in the day you used to put, if someone was a strong hitter, if someone was a strong hitter, you could put them at second. You know, quite a few years back, it was, like 15 years ago, and one line I'll always remember, Randy Furby says, it's not like that anymore. You have a lead, you have a lead, 2/3, and a skip. That's what you have nowadays. You have to have all the shots. If you're going to win, you have to have all the shots. You know, you can't hide weaknesses, but it's still really, really good to know, what your sweepers can do, and and how they throw. The touch is still a thing. You know, it still takes a little bit of artistry to have a really, really good touch, and understand your strengths and weaknesses of your team is important.
Well, spills both the Reds back deep.
Not a bad situation, maybe not what they wanted to do, but it actually got them all out of putting 2 rocks in the 12-foot beat. Quebec has to score 2 to tie, and none of them are open. They're all open right now, so. Three rocks to come each.
heavy out of the hand, but it's going to go right through that slide path, so it might come down in the middle here.
It should, yeah.
Jamais, jamais, no, 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 no. Nope.
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it back there.
Yeah, it's a good spot. Really good spot. Tough to tell. Do you think red sitting 2 or?
I believe so. Kind of looks like it, eh? It's tough to tell, but
You can see most of
you're
it.
kind of right now they're using that top red one as a guard, so you probably, your play is probably on that. I think you could get close to the nose on that one, but
Sure.
did they do that? Do you think that they do that,
Do we like to
Rylan,
play
or
the
you
double,
pulling
like-
the guard, playing the guard, or
You can see.
what's your
I-
thoughts?
My hack.
If you're sitting, if they're only sitting 1, I kind of like the guard. But if they're sitting 2, I think you could chase it and try to play the double if you have enough of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, for sure. And even if you
I
miss it,
think
if
the
you just
double
leave your
track
stone
and
right
double.
there, right?
That guard is pretty darn
roll
high.
a fraction over to the boards and leave your rock wide open. You can definitely use
that's
that,
right.
promote it later. So
Yeah, you're right. And even even if you move that one that's top 8, the other one's not going to be covered around that yellow guard, the high yellow guard. So
right.
Do you like control? Control? You can make it?
So it looks like Coach Dave came out and told them to play that top one. They think they can see just about all of it. So the guard is pretty high too, so you don't have to. You know, there's lots of room for it to curl after it goes past the guard.
Do you like a little bit? Just a hair? That was not. Whoa! Curl! Curl hard! Hard curl! Hard curl hard! Hard! More!
Just about. Remove the rock now. You've exposed that on both sides, so
Okay.
Quebec does need to steal 2, so we're going to try and get another one in there.
they're probably going to be looking to go top 8 and maybe show a quarter of the stone on the outside.
That's what she said. You bet. You probably want to make sure you're deep enough, though, that you can put a second stone on top of it if you need to. But
Wide? On est quand même léger.
for sure, you want to be second shot.
Top 8. Top 4. Top 8. On est un petit peu dans le ball. Top 8. Yep. Yep.
Comes to that middle.
Yep.
Or did they leave it
Yep,
a
yep,
little
yep,
too
hard.
long?
Really hard, really hard. Yep, yep, yep. Really hard. Really hard. Really hard. Yep, really hard.
Oh, it's kind of guarding the one that's back 4 at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like even here is
Does
good.
force BC now to come and draw around that. They can come either way. They can come in this way, or else they can go around the outside and try and freeze to it. And
You got it. Give it a hair more.
a little bit of pressure on
Yeah.
British Columbia to make this shot. She does have hammered this in, but if she doesn't make this shot, then it's going to give Quebec an opportunity to get that second shot rock in there, and it's going to be quite difficult for BC to score.
I got a 15-4 on that. Top 4. 4-1?
Great crowd tonight here at the Newtown Curling Club in Saskatoon. Lots of action. People are wearing their favorite colors, waving flags. It's a great atmosphere. All the flags that are up on the wall and stuff like that. Sure is a fun event to be part of.
Absolutely, it's great for all these athletes. National event here to experience that.
Yeah. well, we've got Quebec does have a chance now. That acts like a guard for them, and you need to get that second shot in there. I guess that is an option too. That is not a bad call to hit that one and lay 5.
Yep,
That puts the
absolutely.
pressure on. They could win the game if there's ever a mistake. So
Could hit and roll to that spot that you were going to draw to as well anyway.
Yeah,
So you
this
could
is-
get 2 for 1 maybe.
yeah, gonna talk to Coach Julie and just kind of figure out what they want to do and what's the best. This is kind of like your gut feeling shot, right? You know, if you wrap one around there and get it around that one and put it full 4 foot, you have a good chance to steal your 2, but that's the most you're going to steal. You know, if you hit this outside one, you could accomplish the same thing with the hit and roll too. Yeah, I think this is a wonderful call. I think this is
Absolutely, yeah.
because she is going to have to draw with her last one. And we talked about that coming to the center line. You know, the first one she threw it down the center. Now she's going to have to take a little more ice to go way outside.
Yeah.
Might be in a little keener spot.
They're on this early.
He's just going to curl just across the nose of it. Just roll out, so she's going to have to same draw.
Yep.
A little more ice? Yeah, you got it.
This is one of those draws where those rocks are situated. She's either going to win or she's going to lose on this one. It's going to be very difficult for it to be a tie, because if she's short of that top red one, the back red one out counts it. You know, she's past it. She only has to outcount she only has to, give up no more than 1, and she can still win the game. So. Definitely has a little bit more ice out into the little bit better.
Line's good. Full 4. Line's good. Lisa's rock.
Looks a little
Line's
warm.
good.
They're
Top
sweeping
4.
it. No, it looks really good, doesn't
It
it?
does look good. They're getting to the middle stuff here now.
Yeah.
Hard.
I think she's fine. She's kept it out on the.
Full 4. Full 4.
She put it right on the bottom.
Really good.
Really nice, Bethany.
Great shot.
And for 1, and that is the game. What a wonderfully curled game. Team British Columbia beats Team Quebec 8-5. A wonderfully curled game. Ryland, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure being able to talk. Good luck at the Briar to you guys. Have a great week, and I know you're going to do us proud. And it was, like I said, it was an honor to have you join us, and hope we can do it again someday.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. It was a blast.